So, welcome back to another Half and Half Scarf football podcast with me, Nick, and my mate Dom. We're still in the World Cup phase. We're still deeply into our podcast catalogue for observations on each of the rounds of the World Cup, which brings us to this episode going out after the two semi-finals on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. We're recording this on Thursday, the evening after the night before. If you're an England fan, we'll get to that. But yeah, it's a semi-final review. So we are going to be looking at the two games. We're not tacticians. We're not going to be talking about tactics. We're going to be looking at observations as football fans, things that we spot and things that have been discussed a bit today. I mean, to be fair, a lot of my feeds have been lighting up with homemade managers and coaches and all that kind of thing. But I'm sure it's the same with you, Dom. I just put a little note for those watching. Make sure you got the kids not watching or listening to this episode, because when we get to the England game, Dom's quite stoic. Me, not so much. We might have a little bit of a parental a requirement. So it's usually you, Dom, isn't it? Where if you get a little rattle, you sometimes get a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
it might be me. Today's just been flat as a fart, really, and
yeah.
we'll explore that. But welcome, mate. And we're not going to talk about England first, because the first
No,
game was the first game. I've got written down here semi-finals, one shock and one shocker. And I think that probably summarises the two games, doesn't it, in headline form?
yeah, I definitely think so, mate. I think Spain finally turned up to a degree. I
Mm,
wouldn't say they, set the world on fire or, lit the stage up. It was,
yeah.
I've got to be honest, I thought it was quite a boring game, to be honest. It was like a lot of games this World Cup. I've just found it really dull, really dull.
It's because it involves Spain, mate. They are really quite dull to watch. But I do think technically they're a very gifted side. We'll come to that in a minute. I've got one thing to talk about before we go into the first semi-final. And it's our old favourite Gianni Infantino, right? Okay, we over the year we've been doing this podcast, we've had several podcasts in the run up to the World Cup. We've had obviously World Cup podcasts throughout the 4.5 weeks so far. And Infantino, he's just like a scab that you keep scratching, isn't he? And
Yeah,
the pus just oozes out. Now, this week he's been touting his idea for a 64 team World Cup. Every single journalist, every single sports commentator, every single person involved in any level of football planning around the world has said, what a terrible idea. And yet you can guarantee that we'll have a 64 team
yeah,
World Cup as soon as Infantino can get that done, because it just spreads his web of corruption, his web of brown envelopes, and his power base. And he's got no shame about sharing the corruption around the world. 64 teams. I mean, God forbid how long that'll last. And I mean, Scotland still won't qualify from a group anyway, but 64 team World Cup, he can't let it alone. And nobody wants it. Nobody thinks it's a good idea. And yet he will push it through, won't he? What's your view on
Oh
that?
yeah, he'll ignore everyone. He'll just go about it and say that it's the best thing for the game, and he's spoken to knowledgeable people who want it. It's got nothing to do with that at all. It's all to do with the more teams that are in it, the more kickbacks and money that these confederations get. It's got nothing to do with spreading the love of football. And
No.
if you get into the point where you've got 64 teams, you might as well not bother with qualifying, to be honest, because it just becomes a joke to qualify for the World Cup. And
Yeah.
let's be honest, this tournament's been an absolute bore fest. I mean, it's been terrible from minute one building up to it, just because of all the nonsense in terms of tickets, travel, transport. The fact that every game's probably 1,000 miles apart in terms of fans having to get to games.
Yeah.
It's just been a joke from minute one. And this thing about apparently Infantino, you have to focus on him once in each half, and when you focus on him, the camera has to be focused on him when he's not on his phone and he looks like he's interested in the game. Guy's just a complete fucking twat. Let's be honest
He,
about it. And
he
that's and
is.
they're my two swear words for the pod, mate. But I can't stand the fella. He's just pure poison. He's ruining football, and he's just doing it basically off his own agenda. He's not listening to anybody. So
Mm.
if If a 48 team tournament can be boring, imagine what it'd be like with 64 teams.
Well, we had 72 games, didn't we? We talked about the group stage, I think episode 52 or 51, and we talked about the setup of the group stage. 72 games to get rid of 16 teams,
Yeah.
13 of which we'd have all chosen before a ball was kicked. Now we want 64 of those teams, what, to get rid of 32 of them,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of whom we'd all know before a ball was kicked again. What's the bloody point?
Yeah. And he'll come back to this argument, oh well, look at the wonderful stories, and has there been, apart from Cape Verde, who were the surprise? But let's be honest, in every single World Cup, you'll get
Mm,
some kind of surprise or a team that does
yeah,
better than you expected. And maybe everyone actually underrated Cape Verde because just because you're a small island, small
mm,
nation, doesn't mean that you're well organised in terms of your
football.
footballing federation and what goes on. I mean, look at Iceland. Iceland have been there and done it.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's. I've been very underwhelmed by the whole tournament, mate. To be honest,
Well, luckily we've got a big game to look forward to on Saturday night, haven't we? With the, what do you call it? The bronze what?
it's called the bronze final. I mean,
Wow.
if you can you could you make could you come up with a bigger load of shit if ever you? I mean, just call it what it is. The third and fourth place playoff match, which
Right.
no one's interested in,
No.
no one cares. Anyone who's paying money ticket wise to go and watch that pile of shite, you want to have your heads read seriously.
He's the thing. If you're France and you're England, right? Spoiler alert, if you've not seen the results, by the way, but if you're France and if you've been living in a cave, France or England, you just want to go home, don't you? You don't want to be
Yeah.
dragged somewhere to play
Oh
a
shit.
meaningless game that no one gives a shit about. And is he just going to? Are they both going to just going to play squad players who didn't get any game? Even Jordan Henderson might come on with his arm in a sling. You never know, do you? But let's move on from that shite anyway. But Infantino, one more thing on him. This guy requested in Toronto last week a level 4 motorcade for a FIFA meeting of Congress in Toronto. Now, put context on that. A level 4 motorcade is one level below a visit from the Pope and the same level as a visiting head of state, including the President of the USA. Who does this guy think he is? He runs a company, an organisation, and he demanded a level 4 motorcade in Toronto so that he could get to his meeting. I don't know if he got it. Would have mean significant road closures and local traffic disruption. What the hell is this? This guy's he's like a Bond villain, isn't he?
He's a joke. I mean, he seems to think that he's some kind of famous person. I don't think anyone gives two fucks about him. I mean,
No.
he could literally hire a Toyota Camry at fucking Pearson Airport and just drive himself there. No one would give a shit. Just
Yeah.
off you go, you bald fucker. Just go and do it. Seriously, I can't stand him. I hate the man. I
Oh, I'm,
absolutely hate the man. So we,
I'm,
we better move off the
we better
subject.
move on.
My,
We better
my,
move
my,
on.
my temper's going to be furious. I just the way when you pan to him, he just looks like you just look at him and think how has someone like you become president of FIFA? Seriously, how?
Here's the thing. Last night I was round at
He's even got
Rob's.
eyebrows you can't trust,
I,
mate. I
I was
mean,
just about.
seriously.
Again, I was just about to say I was round at Rob's last night watching it on a really big telly. He's got a really nice flat screen telly, really crisp, much better than I would tell it home. And I noticed his eyebrows look like they've been crayoned on, don't they?
Well, probably because they have. I mean, literally, the guy's an absolute embarrassment. I mean, have you
Right.
seen the people who are constantly sat around him?
Oh,
Oh, good God.
right,
Most of them look like they can't even spell or even say their own name. I mean,
right,
honest to God.
right. Sorry, mate. Seriously, I know that you've got a few trigger words on this podcast after a
Yeah.
year. He's one of them. MLS is another one. Beckham's the third. I'm not going to mention any more of
Please
them,
don't.
mate.
Yeah.
Let's get into the semi-final observations, mate. So France versus Spain. Now, I was away this week and I watched it in my hotel on a big screen in a courtyard area. And it was lovely, a nice sunny evening. A big flat screen, decent sort of place to watch football and no skin in the game particularly, but I was hoping Spain won because I didn't really fancy, if we did beat Argentina, playing France because I thought France would have been brilliant. I've written here before kickoff, the irresistible force meets the immovable object. but it turned out to be anything but, didn't it? It was a very, very comfortable evening for Spain.
Yeah, it was too comfortable. I mean, it was, you kind of looking at that last 10 minutes and they must be just pinching themselves thinking, how easy is this for the last 10 minutes of a game?
Of a semi-final, of a
No,
World
no
Cup
pressure,
semi-final.
no jeopardy, no tension,
No,
nothing. They just cantered over the line. And I think that I came to the conclusion that the only thing I can deduce about Spain, because unfortunately they are extremely boring to watch. I mean, Spain teams of old, they are not.
no.
The Spain team of 2010 to
Oh,
14 that was just magic on every level. And it's not belittling their players. Their players are individually extremely talented,
yeah.
and I do really admire the fact that they can hold the ball really well. They can keep possession really well. They can frustrate the opposition, which is essentially what they did to France. I mean, did France only? I think they only had one shot on target.
Well,
One shot on target.
I think so. I saw. Well, I wrote some notes. What I tend to do is I write some notes before the game, and then I see if they pan out really. So I've got here to put Barcola for Douay in the French team. It's like swapping a Mercedes for a top of the range Audi and still having the Audi in the garage warming up for a run out later on. Strength in depth, frightening. And then, they've picked Rabiot. He's still shit, but every team needs a Citroen 2CV somewhere in France. So that's why Rabiot was in. I put Marino was unlucky not to be starting for Spain in my book because he'd scored twice as a sub. But apparently now, we don't have subs, do we? We have starters and finishers. What
Oh,
the fuck is that about?
man. Yeah, I really just wish this. Oh, I know, I know, I know.
I,
I can't speak, man. It's just like we've got starters and finishers.
we have, haven't we?
Yeah,
Starters and finishers. So apparently Marino's a finisher, right? A couple of other observations, and I don't know the answer. It's not being jingoistic or not being. I put, is the Spanish national anthem instrumental? Because not one of their players was singing anything. I suspect it's instrumental because otherwise some of them would have been mumbling some words, weren't they? So I don't know if someone can tell me if the Spanish national anthem is purely instrumental. But the French national anthem is beautiful, and the Marseillaise is
yeah,
really uplifting
yeah.
and it's jolly, it's upbeat or whatever. I love that. But then the game kicks off, and I put here an absolute definite Spanish penalty, but brilliantly done by Lamine Yamal. If you watch that as an observation football fan, I'm looking at is that a penalty, and then you look at it back. Lamine Yamal has looked at Digne, corner of his eye, and he knows that Digne has looked away. So Lamine Yamal jumps into exactly the right place where Digne's foot is going to swing through.
Yeah,
Dini didn't know he was there. He had no clue he was there, but he kicked him in the thigh, and it was a definite penalty. But that was brilliantly bought by Lamine Yamal. And
yeah,
then Mbappe's in the referee's face for about 5 minutes. Like, what you complaining at Mbappe? If that was given against you, if that was given for you, you'd have taken it all day long. Shut up. That's my
yeah,
first
yeah,
observation.
yeah. Absolutely.
Just, Mbappe is just an annoyance, isn't
I
he?
do wish there was more of that in the game. It's gone, hasn't it? It's like you'll moan and moan and moan when it's against you, but when it's given to you, you won't complain at all. So it's like,
Exactly.
do you know what?
Yeah.
Just have some sportsmanship and just, accept the fact that it's one of those things that if just look at it and go, yeah, I've taken it. So don't complain about it. And
But
what's the
it was
point?
it was it was
Once,
ages. It was
but
ages in with the
but once
referees.
the ref's given it, so when has it ever been in football ever that a player whinges in a referee's ear and he goes, "Oh, do you know what? I'll, do you know what? I've changed my mind there."
as
It
it as
never
it's you,
happens.
as it's you, Killian, as it's you. Go on
As
then.
it's you because
Yeah,
you think you're God and everything else, but yeah.
but
So
I put a few observations on the first half. I've got here a really cool finish. Orazabal or Olazabal, whatever his name is.
yeah,
Somebody should know. He's had a great tournament, hasn't he? Plays for
yeah,
Sociedad. I'd never heard of him really much before he came into the tournament. And then I've put nearly the goal of the tournament in 37 minutes by Spain, just past the post after an unbelievable, intricate 4 or 5 passes, including a little sort of back passing into
yeah,
it was, it was sumptuous to watch. And you're thinking that goes in, that's goal of the tournament. He's how bad the tournament's been for me in terms of moments. I can't think of a goal of the tournament particularly. Maybe the Cape Verde guy who scored the equaliser, the second equaliser against Argentina.
Yeah,
Maybe that, but
maybe that.
I
Just
haven't
because
seen
it,
a goal of the tournament
yeah,
really.
I think that's a good shout, and also just the timing of when it went in. I mean, it was a
Mm.
great goal. It was a brilliant hit. Just the timing of that goal as well was fantastic, and his celebration. But yeah, do you know what? I honestly agree with that. There's been no standouts for me at all.
None that you've gone, wow, that'll live in the memory. I remember James Rodriguez scoring an absolute corker in 2014.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember goals from way back, don't you? The Dennis Bergkamp one in '98, and
Oh,
just and they live in the memory. But I don't know about this one. I've got a couple more notes on the first half. What surprised me, and I know we've been a bit harsh on Spain, saying a bit boring. What surprised me though is they were more front foot in the first half than they'd been in the entire tournament. Normally they're quite happy to play the ball around the middle and
mm.
play the ball around the back and pass. And don't get me wrong, the pass statistics were just off the scale really with whatever in terms of number of passes they completed versus France. But I've got here France just looked disjointed and frustrated. But at half time they took Rabiot off. Now, I think they must have been watching the podcast and listening to my tactical
Yeah,
review, tactical review of Rabiot because he got taken off at half time. It made no difference to France at all, to be fair. Um,
none.
and then they brought Douay on for Barcola, and I put here, why don't they just share a shirt? Because they always swap one for the other. It's the same swap every game. Douay for Barcola or Barcola for Douay. Why don't you just wear the same shirt? You swap as you come on because you're clearly, the same person, really. Um, and Roy Keane said at the second hydration break in the second half, it's a team versus a load of individuals, which I thought was a spot on assessment, really. I've got still time to turn it round, especially with the subs. Cherky's come on. Can he unlock him? He's a bit of a maverick. I thought Yamal got away with a really nasty sort of foul on Mbappe. It was a clear yellow and he didn't get one. And again, it's all about this. And my other observation was Ferran Torres. I put he's the Torres that you order from Temu or Wish, expecting to get prime Fernando Torres, and then you end up with Ferran Torres. He's about as shit as Rabiot, isn't he? Him?
I think he's quite a poor player. He's never really lit up the stage for me. He was poor at City, he was poor at Barca. He's never one that's never, shone in the limelight for me. So
No.
no, he's just like, you know, a reasonable player. He's never one you'd look at and go, oh, what a play. He's been around for donkey's years now, and he's never lit up the stage. So he's never
He's on,
going to either.
he's on the market for 44 million at the
I
moment.
know, I know.
44
I was
million.
just going
What
to
the
say it's absolutely bonkers. 44
really?
quid. It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, the other thing I put is the France got a free kick on 88 minutes. And you know what? With 6 or 7 minutes of injury time, you're thinking, well, you know what? Mbappe's over the pole. And the free kick summed up their game. It was
Yeah.
abject. And it was just like, well, and like you said, the Spanish team then just played around with it. There's Olays from the crowd and
Yeah.
no pressure. And I've written down here, what have I written? Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, Cucurella, and Pedro Porro were all brilliant, but all had pipe and slippers on because they didn't need to get out of
Didn't need to do
second gear
anything.
at
Yeah.
all. Yeah,
No, they didn't. It was, France just looked really kind of lethargic. They looked
yeah,
tired. They looked almost, it almost got to a point where they just looked a bit disinterested, like they almost knew nothing was going to happen for them. I mean,
yeah.
you know, I don't really watch a lot of the punditry because it just bores me. But yeah, what Roy Keane said there, I would probably go along with. It's, you know, if they're on it, France, they will play like a team. They can click and suddenly become
Mm,
amazing. But you always get the impression with them, if it's not going their way, they do suddenly very, very, very quickly look like exactly that, a team of
yeah,
strangers.
yeah,
Whereas other teams, they can be playing, you know, quite under the radar, and they are a unit. Like Spain have just tinkled along, haven't they? They've just quietly trundled
yeah.
along. No great headlines, nothing huge, and they've just got the job done. And all of a sudden, they're
Mm.
sat there in a World Cup final. Something, and we'll get to that. Something that we desperately want as a nation in England and struggle, and they just quietly plod along and get into one. And a lot of other countries do the same. It's like, oh yeah, we're
Mm.
here again.
Yeah. It
And
just seems to be there. I've got a little stat here though. I love a stat, you not so much, but we always say after a game like that, oh, that was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? Can't believe that. But then if you look at it, Spain have beaten France in three tournaments in three consecutive summers. They
Yeah,
beat them in they beat them in the Euros, they beat them
yeah.
in the Nations League, if that is a tournament, and they beat them in this one. So why is it a surprise that they beat France? I actually had a bet on for France to win, for Spain to win, and I was okay with that. But the rest of my builder bet was a bit shit. But I actually picked Spain to win. I thought Spain had a chance of beating them, and they did, and they did it comfortably. I've got a question: were Spain that good? Were France that bad? Or was it somewhere in between? And will we ever know?
Definitely somewhere in between. I don't think we'll ever know. I think Spain played in. Sorry, I think France very much played into Spain's hands. I do think
Mm,
Spain raised their levels. I think that's what they
mm,
are very good at. When they're playing a better opposition, they will raise their game, and they did. There's no question about that in that first half. They did,
yeah,
but I do think France made it very easy for them, and we'll probably come on to it. If I'd be I'd be really interested to see how Spain, if Argentina play the way they're capable of playing and how they played against us in that last 30 minutes, would Spain be able to keep up with that? Because they don't play at that speed. They
no,
just they don't. They're very good on the ball, but you don't really see them playing at that speed. And I'm interested to see how they approach that game because I'm not saying that they can't play at that speed and that level. I
mm,
think they can. They're an incredibly skillful team. They're just maybe not needed to yet. So I think people who are underestimating Spain and think, oh, they'll get absolutely battered. Well, they could, but equally they might surprise you and go, well, we can do that as well.
well,
So
I
step
thought
up.
in the, I thought in the semi-final with France, like a lot of games, first goal's crucial. Once they got the first goal, you're looking at the French team going, "Good luck with that." You know, they've only conceded one goal all tournament, haven't they?
Mm.
And it just it seemed to break France, and it was quite sort of midway through the first half, and they just looked a shadow of the former selves at that point. Going to the Argentina game, obviously we're going to touch on England. Well, not, we're
Mm.
going to more than touch on England and Argentina. Um, the challenge there is on Sunday is who has the ball because they both love the ball, don't they? They both love the
Well,
ball.
yeah, they do, and it's yeah. I mean, when you look about, and we'll get onto it again, but it's hard not to bring it into this game. If you look at how much time Argentina waste in not playing football when they
Mm,
clearly can play football brilliantly,
yeah,
I really hope that they just don't do the same in the final. I just want to see two teams just really play to their best strengths and literally it become an end-to-end ding dong and see who wins. And that'll be a spectacle.
That Spain win. That Spain win,
Oh
please.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah, it'll be yeah. I'm going to be rooting for Spain. I just think I'm just sick and tired of Argentinian supporters who are just so full of themselves.
Yeah,
Been speaking
World
to
Cup.
people, they're just driving me mad. And this whole Messi thing, as sublime and a brilliant a player he is, it's
Mm,
just getting on my nerves. I mean, even the headline today, you know, England beaten by Messi and Argentina. Why does it have to be Messi and Argentina?
no,
Just England beaten by Argentina. He didn't do it
yeah,
on his own, and he clearly
no.
didn't do it on his own in that match. Just stop. I mean, honestly, it's pathetic. I mean, even every time he gets touched and fouled in the game, they're all around him, around the referee, like he's, something holy. It's like give over, honestly.
It's like they've broken the holy statue, isn't it? And
Yeah,
they're
it's
all
like
like, yeah,
give
yeah.
over. And so I, I I think you underestimate Spain at your peril. I think a
I
lot of
do.
people might be thinking, oh, they're a bit slow, a bit safe, get against a team who can really go at them, they'll struggle. No, I don't think they will. I think they'll adapt the game, and I think people could be in for a surprise. I hope people are in for a surprise. I hope they suddenly go, there you
Bang.
go, bang.
They've got a cutting edge, Spain, and I think if it might not be at the same pace as maybe Argentina, but in terms of on the break, that goal that nearly was goal of the tournament was sublime, and if they play to that capacity, they can kill anyone. So let's come to
Yeah,
Argentina, England, or as I've written it down, England, Argentina. Before we start on the game itself, it was held in Atlanta. It was nice weather in Atlanta again, and I saw a report from somebody on social media and they were selling in the concession stand something that you need on a really hot day. They were selling shaved ice. selling shaved ice, right? And shaved ice was $11. $11 for shaved. I put here, I'd want a swimming pool full for that much. You probably get a big cup or a bucket. $11 for shaved ice. It's just water with sharp bits in it, isn't it? What the fuck? $11 for shit. I mean, that's taking the piss. And they had an empanada thing. They're like it's like a Mexican pasty. How much do you think a Mexican pasty with nothing else, just a fairly decent sized Mexican pasty? How much do you think that was in Atlanta?
Oh, $25 easy.
$50.
No,
$50 for an empanada
no.
with your $11 for your shaved ice.
Oh my God. Wow.
Wow. Let's move on from that. Absolutely, the last time we want to talk about FIFA, because they will have been part of that price point.
Of course,
They'll be getting
they
a bloody
will. Of course they
kickback
will.
on that. Right. So I've written down here before the game, and I always like say write stuff before the game and see how it panned out. I've put a bit frightened of the dark arts, right? I've put for every yellow card England had in this World Cup, they've committed an average of 7.5 fouls. So for every 7.5 fouls, they get a yellow card. In the same competition, by Argentina, how many fouls do they have to commit before they get a yellow card up to the semi-final?
Well,
England is 7.5.
probably double. Probably 15.
22.
Oh God, that's just wow. That's
22
astonishing.
fouls
I
per
thought it'd
yellow
be double.
card, 7.5 fouls per yellow card for England. So they get away with it a lot. I thought, will it happen in the game tonight? I'm a bit concerned. And within 2 minutes of kickoff, okay, absolute
Yes.
concern. Do Argentina actually want to play football? Rotating the fouling, not getting picked up, rolling around, feigning injury, diving all over the referee every time Messi gets touched within, an inch of his life. Um, and I've put that England are keeping the cool, but it's ramping up. And the first foul that Anderson does, the first foul, Paredes and Simeone had done 3 or 4 fouls each, and the referee just like, next one, next one. Anderson does a foul, he gets a yellow card. It's like, really? What's going on? And
Yeah.
I knew from minute one we were up against it when it came. They didn't want to play football in the first half, did they?
We were talking about this off air, and my biggest bugbear about the whole match was if Argentina just stopped pissing about trying
Yeah,
to be thugs and do the dark arts. It's like, do you know what? The way you played in the last 30 minutes, why don't you just turn up and play like that the whole game? Because the chances are, if you played like that the whole game, you'd have absolutely battered us and you wouldn't have needed to have
yeah,
that finale for 30 minutes. It's called football. So why don't
yeah.
you just play football? If you're capable of playing like that as a team, and let's be honest, that last 30 minutes, and we'll go on to the rights and wrongs of England, but they were superb.
Yeah, they
That
were.
last 30 minutes, they were unbelievable. And they played better. They played better and were better as a team than I'd seen them in a while. And it was
Yeah.
more than I expected of them. But all I kept having in my head the whole time was, why have you just wasted the first 60 minutes chopping and chewing and playing stalemate and fouling everywhere when you can play like that? Because
Well,
if you played like that from the start, they
mm,
probably would have beaten us hands down because we
well,
wouldn't have been able. They were so good. They were so good.
if we do, if well, I mean, there's an element of tactics that played into their hands, but
Yeah, and we'll
I would
come to.
also
I know. Yeah,
I would also say you're absolutely right. I'm sat here not complaining about the best team winning because the best team ultimately did win. There was some
yes,
reasons for that which we'll explore, but I'll put here in the first half plenty of space behind for Gordon and for Spence. I thought Spence was superb, by the way.
he was.
And
Yeah,
I put Rogers has already done more than Madueke's done in several games in the first half. I thought Rogers looked bright, but he's not a natural winger, is he? And then I just kept writing dirty bastards, dirty bastards, dirty bastards. Um, and then why is Messi in the ref's ear at half time? What had he got to complain about? They'd got everything. He hadn't even been touched, and he spent the entire half-time walk-off gnawing in the referee's ear. I'd love to
mm.
know what he was moaning about because he had nothing to moan about. Nothing at all.
I would agree. It was a first half where they got away with murder. And really, what is it you've got issue with? Because if you look at it from a footballing point of view, there was very little football,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think they got away with a lot. I mean, there was so much play acting rolling around. You know, as soon as they got touched, they were on the
Uh,
floor. I mean, that's Simeone. God Almighty, how annoying
yeah.
was he? I mean,
Mm.
yeah, I just find them to be a really, really unbelievably frustrating team because
Yeah.
and a lot of them do it, and a lot of the South American teams do it. I'm like, do you know what? Just pack it in and play football. Just
You
play
better than that.
football because they are really good at it. And
Mm.
I was,
Yeah.
I just think it's such a shame, and in a World Cup semi final that you just don't have the gumption to go out there and just, do you know what? We can beat these. We don't really have to play dirty or play the
Yeah.
dark arts or be at the referee with 5 minutes. Just play your game. But they
Well,
never
talk.
will do, will they? They've always been like that.
Historically,
Historically like that. Yeah,
what I would say is talk about great football. What a goal England's goal was, by the way. What a goal!
it
Great,
was lovely.
a
I
great,
was,
a great
yeah,
ball forward from Kane. Obviously, their defender didn't clear it very well. I thought, Rogers got onto it really quickly, looked up, and I think Gordon still had something to do because it bounced in front of him and he had to get behind the defender, didn't he?
said
He took
that's
it
yeah.
really well,
I said that
beautiful.
to my daughter. I said people might think that's an easy tap, and if he
Oh
misses it,
no.
it's like, oh my god, what you do missing that?
Mm,
But I said the same. I mean, I think in fairness to him, I think he got his foot was. I think he was actually anticipating the bounce. I
yeah,
think because the trajectory of the ball, I think he was anticipating it, and thankfully he did. Because if he hadn't, we wouldn't have scored. But
yeah,
even that subtle pass from Declan Rice, just
yeah.
not thinking I've got to take it on and cross it myself. It was absolutely the right thing just to dink it to Rodgers, and
Mm.
it was such a simple and beautiful goal. And then tragically from there on in, it went horribly wrong.
Well, I was going to say that was as good as it got, wasn't it?
It absolutely was, mate. Yeah.
Within minutes, I've got here, Jed Spence. What a tackle! What I mean,
Oh,
it was his
glorious.
error. It was his error, and then his recovery was sensational. I've put Stones. What a clearance header as well, because
Yeah.
he was off balance, and
Yeah.
then Pickford. What a save, and all of them were celebrated like a goal. I've put superb defending, but we're inviting them on. And that was at like 60 minutes. And I put, we need the hydration break. I hate hydration breaks, but we needed the hydration break. And then you think to yourself, right, we've got to the hydration break, regroup, we're 1-0 up, World Cup semi final. They've not really laid a glove on us apart from, a couple of incidents. They hadn't hit the post at that point, I don't think. And then I've got, it's just didn't improve, did it? Pickford started hoofing every single ball up, and he just kept coming straight back, didn't it? I don't know
Well,
what the instructions were. He was hoofing it up to Harry Kane, who didn't win a header all night, by the way, and was surrounded by three Argentinians, and it just kept coming straight back and straight back and straight back. And I put here, can we get back onto this in terms of giving them something to think about? Oh no, we can't because Cons is coming on for Gordon. And I thought, and I just put there, oh shit. That move in 72 minutes was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
72. I mean, you've got 25 plus. I mean, by the time they blew the final whistle, you're talking nearly 30 minutes there.
And they're not Mexico. Argentina are not Mexico.
Yeah,
Mexico, when they
yeah,
played us, lump big balls in the box, lump big balls in the box, and
much
that's
more
all they had.
predictable. Yeah,
Yeah,
I said to you off air, didn't I? It was like Argentina had a purpose and an intent. Everything they did had a deliberateness to it. There was a deliberate thought to all of it.
yeah,
They just looked so threatening with everything they did. I mean, I was literally my stomach was turning knots because
yeah,
every ball was penetrating. They were dangerous around the 18 yard, the 6 yard box, on the wings from corners.
yeah.
Everything they did, none of it was luck. It all had a really precise deliberateness to it, and you could see the pressure we were under. And they were so fast, so slick, moving it from side to side through the middle. We just
Mm,
couldn't cope. But what really shocked me, mate, is, and I said to my daughter, I said, "Oh, it's classic when a team scores. You know, the other team suddenly get impetus. They focus on the game. They stop dicking
Well, they
around.
stopped dicking about, didn't they?
Yeah, stop
Stop.
dicking around,
Yeah,
and suddenly thought we have to start playing football here, and they
yeah,
did. And you think, just ride it out. Just that it's that classic cliche, isn't it? Just ride it out for 10 minutes, settle
yeah,
the storm, get some composure back, get the ball, and try and hold it.
yeah.
But 10 minutes turned into the rest of the game, and worse still, not only could we not hold it, at first we were kind of keeping the lines quite well. We were quite close to them. they were still we were still giving him a lot, and they were creating havoc. But at least we were kind of closer to a man. We were making it harder.
Mm.
The more substitutions we made, the longer the game went on, we just stood off them even more. I was screaming at the TV at one point, just literally go to your man, close the angle, stop the crosses,
Stop the
basic
cross.
stuff. Stop the
Stop the
crosses.
cross. Down their right hand side, they did three corners in a row. Messi took the corner, passed it out to the guy on the edge of the 18-yard box. They passed it back to Messi, and he put a sublime cross in, three in a row.
Oh,
You're thinking, hang on a minute, there's a bit of a pattern. What bothered me, and it didn't happen, was we were tackling on the edge of the 18-yard box or 18-yard to 25 yards. You give a free kick away there, that's a penalty to Messi, isn't it? You know what
yeah,
I mean? Thinking,
yeah.
don't foul him, don't foul him, don't foul him. They were intricate, great feet, pass and move. But our shape was shot to shit, wasn't it? It was
Oh,
we had six defenders,
yeah.
and yet their second goal, I mean, their first goal was brilliantly taken, don't get me wrong, but again, shocking that he gets that amount of time to line it up.
So much time, and then unfortunately, I don't think Pickford could see it because it was the way it was. I'm not a fan of Enzo Fernandez. He seems to think he's some kind of worldie. He just isn't.
No, I agree.
Um, but he's got a shot on him, and
Yeah,
he meant that. He meant to put it there,
yeah.
and it was had some brilliant fade on it. Where he beat all the defenders, and I just as soon as you saw it in the slow mo, you thought, no wonder Pickford missed it because he didn't have a chance. Because I don't even think he saw
No,
it off his
no
boot.
keeper's saving that.
No, I don't think he's saving it anyway. But
No,
I thought even better from the shot, and I'm praising the shot. I just don't. It was so fast and so crisp and in the right area.
yeah,
But I think even the angle of where he was, I don't even think he saw it. So I
no.
think he lunged, but he was never getting it. And as soon as that goal went in, I was like, this is caving in quick, really quick.
I said to Rob, this isn't going to extra time.
No,
We're
I
losing. We're
thought the
losing
same,
this.
mate. I really did. I
Yeah,
mean, I just thought I thought if we can get this to extra time, it'll be a miracle. But then extra time will be really painful as well. I just thought, can we the way we're playing? Can this really last that long? And I was just
no.
thinking, no, it can't. They
Well,
looked fresh. Their substitutions were excellent,
there were.
and
Ours were appalling.
well,
Our
but
substitutions gave us
sorry,
no
mate.
outlet
No,
whatsoever.
you were mentioning before about just hoofing the ball. Like so, Pickford was doing it as well, and do you know what? I watch him every week, and he can be guilty of the odd stray one, but also he's also really good at pinging a ball on the money.
Yeah,
But there was no, but he wasn't doing that because we had no one up because everyone was staying back. So
yeah.
to your point, I was just mystified that we kept hoofing it long,
Mm,
so it was going out, and it's like, do you know what? I know you maybe trying to do that to take some pressure off, but it's just going to come back. I just
yeah.
thought you've got probably three at least a couple of world class players in the England team, and the rest of the
Mm,
team are very very good. And are you
yeah,
honestly telling me they didn't have the gumption amongst themselves to kind of figure out a way of trying to hold that football and
yeah.
just have the confidence to hold it, not just hoof it long where it
Mm.
starts, but hold it and
Take the pressure off. Take the
try and take
pressure
a
off.
bit of pressure. Now it's either because Argentina were that good, and I happen to think they were brilliant last night. They definitely went up. People who say they didn't go up 2 gears,
Oh,
you're
they
not
did.
watching. They did. They
Yeah.
absolutely did. They were frighteningly good, and I actually think how good they were. I really think it caught us off guard, and we couldn't deal with it. And I don't think
Mm.
we were expecting them to be as ruthless, aggressive, and as quick as they were. I don't
Quick
think they
question.
were.
Quick question. Would our fresh starting 11, have coped with them? And the answer is it would have coped better. But
Better.
here's a
Yeah.
controversial statement, right?
Yeah.
And I said this at the Euros last time. Harry Kane looked knackered last night. He looked like he was carrying a fridge last night, right? And I know he's Harry Kane. I know he can score a goal from anywhere. If you're going to take Anthony Gordon off and put Conser on, why wouldn't you take Kane off and put Watkins on and stretch the play and get behind? And Harry Kane chased the ball on 80 minutes, and honestly, he looked like he was carrying a fridge. He
He
literally
did.
did.
It's because he
And
works.
he
It's
done.
because he
And yeah,
tracks back so much.
yeah.
Because he does so much work in midfield and just out of defence. You don't realise sometimes just how much running around he does. So, and
But
I
at that
agree with
point,
you.
we didn't need that. We didn't need that.
No, we didn't. And I agree with you on this because if you look at it, you're thinking if you keep it on because you think he's going to be capable of doing something, he's not, because didn't have any chance of that. So
Yeah.
bring someone who actually can. Ollie Watkins is actually really good. If you stick him in the middle and you give him the
Mm.
ball, he's actually really quite good at holding it up
Yeah.
and just moving off it himself. He gives something different to Kane. So whereas Kane, I don't think he's particularly good at running out with the ball from, say, the middle of the park onwards. He's always looking for an
It's because
outlet.
he's got no pace. That's
No, but
why.
but that's his strength. I mean, he'll ping a ball, brilliant. Ollie Watkins can hold it slightly better,
Mm.
and he'll take it forward. I mean, just that last few minutes of shooting and putting Ivan Toney on, pointless,
Yeah.
absolutely pointless. Gordon didn't look like he needs to go off for me. I thought he looked reasonably fresh still,
Yeah.
and I think he wanted to play. I think the game was crying out for the likes of a Saka where you can just get it to him.
And hold it.
And I said before, said it on the last one, he's great at holding the ball. He's strong as
Mm.
well, so he'll hold the ball off. We just needed a few moments of maybe just having a minute. Even, I mean, we didn't even get it. That's how bad we were. We didn't even
We
get
got
30
nothing.
seconds on the ball.
No.
You need to create, and it's easier said doing what we're just sat here talking about it than it is on the pitch. So I'm not trying to come across like, oh, how easy is that? But it's frustrating when you see properly good players,
Mm.
experienced professionals,
Yeah.
not able to create themselves a minute on the ball. I just thought out of the 40 minutes that were left in the game, we didn't hold the ball for more than 20 seconds at all.
You've heard the famous stat today, right? The famous stat today is from the minute we scored in the 55th minute to when Argentina scored their second goal,
Yeah,
England had 12% possession.
yeah,
12%
yeah.
possession. That is not a minute on the ball. There's not
No,
1 minute on
no,
the ball
yeah.
in there.
There's not
There's
even 30
nothing.
seconds on the ball, and that is seriously worrying because you look at that and think, my God. And I'll come back to what I said before. I genuinely think the way Argentina stepped up, I don't think England were ready for that. I don't think the players were ready for it. And
But
they were just so relentless.
but we didn't show for anything other than looking terrified
Yeah, we
on
caved. You're right. We did. I was just
in
going to
our
say,
own
we
18 yard
caved. We
area. We just
caved. We didn't look.
absolutely
We had no
no,
presence, did we? We didn't have any
no.
presence. We looked like we were willing to stand off. And as soon as you look like you're willing to stand off, players can smell that a mile off. And they're like,
Ah,
it's again, I'm going to throw in another cliche. They almost, you could sense in the Argentines, they were thinking, they're not up for this. They don't
yeah,
want it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we actually looked like we didn't want it. We just looked like we were all of a sudden. I hate seeing teams do this, but I watch Everton do it all the time, and it
And
drives me up the
Borough.
wall. Yeah, as soon as we get a goal, it's like, right, let's protect this. And I said it till I'm blue in the face, and I've said it. Everton are far better if they just keep on attacking,
Mm.
not trying to consolidate a 1-0. England are the same, and Middlesbrough to some extent. Just keep on playing.
A,
Why
fa-
stop? Why
a,
stop?
a famous quote from a real serial winner today. Martina Navratilova said today, if you set up not to lose in any sport, guess what happens?
You
You
lose.
lose.
She's right.
If you set up to win,
You
there's
win.
every chance
There's
you're going to
every
win
chance.
it.
Yeah, that's exactly. You're not going to win it all the time, but you've got a
Every
much
chance.
better chance. And if you,
And
I've
and
never
that comes
understood
from
it,
someone who that comes from someone who won 20 odd Grand Slam
an
tennis and
elite
was at
athlete. Yeah,
elite top of the game, right?
yeah.
So I've written down here last things. Lautaro Martinez, 5'9", wins a completely unchallenged header in a box that's got 6 England players, including Dan Burn on the front post. Now, I was pissed off with that, but you said just watch the ball in from Messi.
It's just sublime. I mean, it's and and this is a compliment to him because he's that good. He is the kind of player that can cross and he'll mean to get it exactly where he knows he can jump and get it in between
Yeah,
everyone because he's that good. That's just not a luck cross. That was a
no,
sublime cross. Having said that, though, we almost looked like we didn't know where we were coming and going by then. I
no,
mean, literally, if you look at all the players around it, no one was expecting it, no one was anticipating it, but the ball in was just
yeah.
frighteningly good. And he is, if you give him a ball like that, that close to goal on a
He's
literally on a
on a
sixpence,
place.
he's
He's not missing, is he?
devastated. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not missing. He's not missing.
So I've written down here, last thing to sum it up, shocker, and it's never coming home. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't hear that song more than twice in the entire World
Saw it
Cup
written
because
down plenty though, mate.
I saw it
I read,
written down plenty.
I
Yeah,
nearly commented on someone the other day who put it. I think it was actually on LinkedIn somewhere and said, "Oh, by the way, did you know it's coming home?" And I resisted to comment. I just thought, "Do you know what? I'm ignoring it. I don't want to ever hear
yeah,
that." I was sick of it 30 years ago.
yeah,
I couldn't believe they brought it out again in '98, and then it's been regurgitated ever since. And do you
yeah,
know what? Actually, I think it is slowly dying a death. I think really people are realizing it. It's becoming a bit of a pariah, and
yeah.
I just put it to bed. Please stop talking about it because
And
it's embarrassing.
and and thankfully we didn't hear much of Sweet Caroline, which is also done to death, thank God, wasn't it? So anyway,
Awful,
yeah.
awful. Yeah, yeah,
Right, moving on. Last thing. I'm not a political bloke. I'm not bothered about politics, but politics and football shouldn't mix. This is just a question, right?
yeah.
So, they unfurled a Malvinas Falklands banner saying the Falklands, the Malvinas are Argentinian, right? So that was Paredes and three others, and Messi was holding the corner of it as well, by the way. And there are sanctions for that in FIFA. We were not allowed to put a poppy on our England shirt, by the way, because it's a political statement apparently. But there are sanctions. There was a couple of Swiss players did something political, and they were banned for 2 games or something for bringing politics into sport. I've just got a question. It's an open-ended question. Probably know the answer. Any thoughts on whether or not there'll be sanctions given to any Argentinians for unfurling a incendiary
Mm.
banner about something, where lots of people lost their lives, by the way, in a
Yeah,
war?
exactly,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, they won't. They won't. Look, yeah.
sanctions coming from FIFA, do you
No,
think?
there'll be no sanctions whatsoever. And I've just like I saw that and I thought even Messi holding the corner, it's like shame on you all.
Yeah,
I'm not being funny, but most footballers thick as fuck,
yeah,
inarticulate, haven't got a brain cell amongst them. So do you know,
yeah,
and they're all really young. So it's like unless you've got incredibly educated parents
yeah,
or you're really educated yourself and you've really done your homework on this, stay out of it because it's
yeah,
got fuck all to do with you. Read
mm,
the room, have some sensitivity, be humble, and just mind your own businesses because footballers haven't got any right to start taking any political slant whatsoever. But
yeah,
sadly, to your point, I mean, you can feel my blood boiling. It's like, do you know what? Seriously, the lot of you fuck right off. You've got
mm,
no business making a political statement on a football pitch. It's a
no,
football match. That was over 40 years ago. And
yeah,
like you just said, the important thing there is there was lives lost on both sides.
mm,
I mean, war is the most futile, pointless thing on the planet. Why would all fight each other? I do not know. Anyway, you
mm.
know, we all live on the same fucking
Oh,
ball for
whoa, whoa,
Christ's
whoa,
sake.
whoa!
You
We
know,
we we need those penguins on the Falklands, mate. That's what it was about. Penguins,
Ugh.
surely.
But it's just, you know what? It's just like, just stop. You won a
Yeah,
football match. Keep it to football. Will they get sanctions? No. Do you know why? Because Messi was holding the corner of the flag.
yeah. Anyway, last couple of things. And I will say, I have no issue with Scots who don't like England football. I don't mind them, supporting anyone who England play and all that, because they're just a bit bitter, aren't they, because they go out of the group stages. But I will say to any Scots people last night who I don't mind them celebrating Argentina winning, not at all. But
Less.
if you bought an Argentina shirt and wore an Argentina shirt, you're as bad as the Malvinas people because Scots guards died in the war in 1982. Your countrymen died fighting Argentina, and you're prepared to support Argentina by buying merchandise just because they're playing England. Just let that sink in because that's a disgrace as well. I'll just finish with that one on there. Last thing. I heard a stat today, love a stat, I do. Every time England have faced a top 10 ranked team in the World Cup since 1998, we've lost.
That
Every
doesn't
time we
surprise me.
played a top
I
10.
actually, I didn't know it specifically, but I would have thought as much, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I would have hunched as much, and yeah, it's yeah.
It's not coming home.
No, and do you know what? I was quite philosophical at the final whistle, and then I've thought about it and mulled over it and brewed over it all day, and all I keep coming to the conclusion I just keep coming to, quite pure and simply and basic, like everyone else probably is. How did that all go so wrong, and what a missed
Mm,
opportunity? When
yeah,
basically we were more than holding our own until. 55 minutes or so, 60
Well,
minutes, and it's
even
literally the wheels fell off, didn't it?
even 70 odd, we were still in it 1-0 up.
Oh yeah, but yeah,
We were 15,
yeah,
20 minutes away from World Cup. And here's the other thing: the night before, every single English person before they kicked off, every single English person was saying, "I hope Spain win. I hope Spain win." So we got our wish on Tuesday, and then didn't deliver on Wednesday.
yeah,
And therein lies the bit that really gets to me. And I'm not. If you look at it, football's a cruel game. I'm a Middlesbrough fan. We came fifth in a three-horse race for promotion twice this season. We got beat by a 94th minute goal at Wembley, and I'm okay with that. We're a 94th minute goal at Wembley and a bloody last-minute winner by Argentina. Football's not been kind to me this season. I'm just hoping, because I'm absolutely done. And the season kicks off. The domestic season kicks off in a few weeks, and I hope I get some enthusiasm for it, because at the moment I'm absolutely battered by football.
I know. Honestly, mate, I'll just to forewarn you, and I'm not being the omen of doom, but
Oh, you're about to be though, aren't you?
I don't know if you're aware. I don't know if you. I mean, Christ, I support Middlesbrough and Everton. I mean, as my wife always says, you haven't even got a hobby that makes you happy. And you should look at the teams you support. But um, you're probably aware of this, so forgive me if I'm, stating the obvious, but you do realise that most football fans of most clubs have a miserable time most seasons.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
it's only you have fleeting moments of joy when you
yeah,
support most clubs. It's only fans of certain clubs who kind of enjoy this rarefied atmosphere that none of us even know.
yeah.
And I have a wife who's obviously a Liverpool supporter, and she's even got to the point where she said sometimes it can be a bit boring winning everything, and it's like
Oh,
my
God, right,
God.
okay.
So it's like it can even get to the point where it's just like you almost want something to fight for, and it's
Yeah.
like, but then there's most fans who spend their entire lives thinking it will happen in my lifetime, you know.
I just, on a domestic front, I just want Middlesbrough to be competitive in the Championship. And we were last season, but the end of the season was appalling. It just came, it crumbled like old biscuit, didn't it, at the end of last season?
Yeah,
So I want us to be competitive. And you know what? 1970, I first watched England. 1970, we're in 2026, and
yeah.
I've had this feeling, this hollow, flat feeling watching England probably 15 times in my
Oh,
lifetime,
yeah.
at least.
Yeah. I've my first fervent memories of football are probably from 1980, 81 onwards when I was 7 or 8. So my first World Cup was 82. And what a
Yeah,
glorious World Cup it was. It had its faults. Nothing's
yeah,
perfect. I'm not looking at it through rose tinted glasses, but it was a lot more magical than the shit we're being served now.
yeah,
But but yeah, it's the only times as an England fan I've really got excited was obviously Italia 90 and Euro
yeah,
96. But the one time when I really felt we should have won the World Cup or were more than capable of winning the World Cup was 2006. And it was the
yeah,
one time where all the players' egos were all about themselves and their
yeah.
clubs and not about playing as a team.
Mm.
So I always feel that's the biggest frustration because I honestly went into that World Cup thinking we really should be capable of doing this. And when you look at the quality that was around, we should have won that World Cup. With
I
those
will
players, we
never,
absolutely should have won that World Cup.
I agree, but the club versus country thing was a
It just
nightmare as
destroyed it,
as
didn't it? And they've all come out and talked about it since like it's a huge shock. It's like we all knew, everyone
yeah,
knew.
yeah,
And to be
yeah,
honest, that's on Ericsson as well because people might criticize Southgate for a lot of things, and I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm not defending
yeah,
him,
yeah,
but I think the one thing he really did give England back was a sense of the team being a team
yeah.
and putting aside club egos. And I think
However,
I've really felt that in all the tournaments since he took over. To be honest,
however,
however,
2006,
however,
2006 pales into insignificance against Italy at Wembley in the
oh,
Euro final.
I think we're
I'll
all sore about
never,
that. Mate. Yeah,
never forgive Southgate. 3 minutes in, 1-0 up against an aging Italian team who were there for the taking. Absolute. We should have won 4-0 that day. And
yeah,
we did what we did last night. Sat back, invited them on, and couldn't cope with them. And it was
yeah,
like, what? How did that happen? So,
yeah.
is
It was
Thomas
very weird,
Tuchel
wasn't it, last
is
night?
Thomas Tuchel any better than Southgate?
Yeah, I was.
Last
Yeah, yeah.
final question: is he any better than Southgate?
I would say, and I'm not trying to sound harsh to Gareth here. I would say yes, he is, but based on the last 30 minutes of that game last night, no, it was a mirror image, and it was.
Yeah,
I even I when my, my daughter Mia said straight away, she said, "Oh, you don't think we're going to sit back here, dear?" And I went, "No, it's not Tuchel's style. That he doesn't play that." I don't know whether I jinxed him, but correct me if I'm wrong. That's not his style of play, is it? He doesn't play like that. He's never
well,
played like that, and
he
that's what really shocked me because he doesn't play like that.
he said in his initial press conference when he took over from Southgate, he said one of the things he thinks about England is when they go deep into a tournament, they fear winning. And my job is to make sure that we don't fear winning. And he did exactly that last night. He feared winning, and he did a Southgate last night. And he's getting pelters, quite rightly. And whether or not he goes or he doesn't go,
Yeah,
I don't care one way or the other, because you know what? I only watch England every 2 years. I won't watch in qualifying or Nations League or whatever. We'll sail through any qualifier. I could be in charge of and do that. When we get to a tournament, are
yeah.
we good enough? Are we good enough to beat the elite? And the answer is from 1998, we're just
We
not, are we?
haven't, we haven't been, and there's always, and when you watch them, there's always that nagging doubt, thinking, oh, when's it going to happen? And I think last night, I think the players started that, and I think he fed into it. I don't think
Yeah,
he changed that and I definitely think the players started it because it literally happened from the kickoff,
yeah.
and it was literally so instantaneous. It kind of shocked me, and I'm thinking that's why when I was saying before, it's like 10 minutes, 5, 10 minutes, we'll settle it down.
After the goal, you kick off after the goal, you
Yeah,
mean?
and,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, and then but then I was really surprised at Tuchel's mannerisms, his substitutions, and I thought you fed into that. You haven't done something to suddenly change it and go, hang on a second, no,
yeah.
let's do this. So I'll go back to what I said at the start of the episode. Other people might disagree with that's the beauty of football and opinions. I don't think it was all on him, but I
Mm,
don't think he did enough to change it. And there
yeah,
was an
that's
awful lot
fair.
of time left in that game to change it, and nothing did change. So it was a huge disappointment.
Okay, let's leave it at that because
Yeah.
we've chewed over that enough. We've got one more World Cup episode to go in our World Cup kind of. Uh, I was going to say trilogy, but there's more than that, isn't there? Quadrilogy, I think there is.
Our World Cup
So
catalogue, if you like, our World Cup,
our yeah,
our World Cup catalogue, if you like.
our World Cup catalogue. Yeah, there
God,
you
there's
go.
a tongue twister for you, yeah.
There you go. So that was episode 57, the World Cup semi-finals. We didn't you didn't have to switch your kids off really, but there was a little bit of
A
effort
little
into it,
bit.
definitely.
I got a bit
Uh,
irate. So, yeah.
yeah, the last episode of the World Cup is episode 58. We're going to do the World Cup final observations. Dom and I recording that on Monday night, so the Monday after the World Cup, the 20th. We'll also have some observations on the tournament as a whole. I'll try not to mention Gianni Infantino to Dom, otherwise we'll have to put a proper parental control on the thing.
Well, yeah,
Thank
a
you.
big PG sign. Yeah, God.
Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. We've had an absolute plethora of new connections on LinkedIn in the LinkedIn group. We've had a load of downloads. We've had
New
some
followers.
fantastic
The LinkedIn
support.
is growing massively. It's
Yeah.
huge.
And we've also got the World Cup quiz, which has been daily, and I'm going to offer that up to anyone. I'm going to package it in a nice little sort of way that you could. I'll send the questions with a separate answer sheet. If anyone wants to have that at the end of the World Cup, 39 pretty tough questions. If you've got a football team and you think people in that team think they know their football, it might be something you can have that for nothing. I'll talk about that on the World Cup episode on Monday. So World Cup final on Sunday night. The bronze plate playoff third,
Bronze
fourth.
final, mate.
None gives
Bronze
a shit.
final.
Nobody gives a shit tournament finish game on Saturday. Um, I'm not even going to watch that at all. So you know what? I'll
Nobody
watch.
does, do they?
No,
Nobody
no.
does.
I might watch the highlights, but I'm not sure there'll be any. So, who wants to finish third in a tournament when you should have? Anyway, let's
I
move on.
just don't think anyone cares about finishing third or fourth, do they? They just don't. I mean, I know it
No,
probably means something in some kind of stats package or something about,
nah.
where you, but does anyone really, 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 truly care? No.
And here's a question: have we ever won one? I don't think we have. We got beat in 1990, and
I
we
was going to
got
say
beat.
Italy beat us, didn't they?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got beat off Belgium, didn't we? In when Croatia beat us. Who beat us in the semi
We-
final? Yeah, Croatia beat us in 2018.
Yeah.
So we we're not even going to win the third place plate. Nobody gives a shit trophy, are we? So anyway, moving on. Have a great rest of the week and the weekend. Enjoy the World Cup final, Dom, and I'll see you on Monday night.
Monday, yeah, looking forward to wrapping things up, mate. And yeah, we can then focus our attentions on pre-season and the season that awaits with lots of stuff to come, everyone. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to summing up the World Cup, see who wins, and like you
Yeah,
said, some thoughts on the whole tournament, and we'll sum it up, mate. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you on Monday.
we'll send the pod to Gianni Infantino. Okay, see you later, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers.